Hi everyone, it's Nichol Spohr. Welcome back to my channel, and today I am introducing the Spellbinders Felt Stitch and Create Spring Collection Carrot Companion. Carrot Companion is a wonderful bunny and carrot felt stitching dies for my collection at Spellbinders called Felt Stitch and Create. First, let's take a look at what you get in the die set. I have my dies stored in this craft Stax with a magnetic mat. We have the front of the bunny face, we have the back of the bunny head, we have the back of the bunny body, and the front. Then for the front, we have a layering piece, and then we have another layering piece, which is the heart. Next, we have the ears, which layer onto the head, the bunny nose, the cheeks, and of course the eyes, and you can use those or not, however you prefer. Accessories are the bow tie. You can either use around the neck or you could put around the bunny's ears. And then we have the carrot pieces, which is the carrot, and then the fringe for the top of the carrot. Let's go ahead and get started stitching this together. I am going to speed up the stitching a little bit. Remember, if at any time you want to slow the stitching down, you can do that by clicking the gear here on the YouTube channel and slowing it down or speeding it up to your preference. I have die cut all of the components, as you can see here, and we're going to move everything to the side except for the head pieces. We are going to start by stitching the ears in place on the head. Actually, that's a lie. We are going to start by stitching the accents for the face. In this case, I am going to stitch the mouth and then just that little straight line that goes up to the nose, following the stitching lines here in this die. I will have plenty of additional videos and projects here on my YouTube channel and blog and social media platforms, so please make sure you're following me and make sure you're subscribed to my channel so you never miss a video. Once I have stitched the mouth, I'm just going to tie this off on the back, and then I'll snip the ends. In other videos, I will show how to use French knots to make the eyes. Today, however, I'm actually going to replace the eyes with black pearl gems instead of using the felt pieces. I generally don't use the felt pieces for eyes, but we do provide them in case you like to use those. So what I'm doing now is I am taking the ear layering pieces and I am using 3 strands of embroidery floss, and starting from the back, we are going to start stitching all the way around. When you are stitching with felt, my preference and what I find the easiest technique is to go up and down every hole. This is going to give you kind of a running type of stitch look where there's a space in between. Don't worry at all about that, because what I have found with felt is if then when you get back to where you started, you go back and fill in all of those open spaces, this gives you the nicest look. Plus, it's a really good habit to get into with felt stitching, as it gives you a seamless look. Traditional back stitching does not work well when you are stitching a dimensional felt plush. And so if you just get in the habit of stitching this way, all will be well and you will be happy with your results. So once I get around to where I started, you can see that I'm simply going around again. When I get around to the beginning again, I am simply going to knot my thread on the back and snip the ends. Now, the great thing about this, everything we're doing right now is hidden or will be hidden within the inside of our felt plush. My introductory videos always show you how to create a plush with the dies. Other projects will be included in additional videos later on. Now, this is a good example of it may not look super great on the inside. I've noticed I had accidentally maybe not pulled my thread snug at some point and I left a little loop. I'm really not going to worry about it. I'm not going to pull it out at this point. It's going to be hidden. No one's going to know. So we're just going to tie a knot, kind of hide that within there, and let's go ahead and stitch the other ear in place. The bunny is designed much like many of the other critters in my Felt Stitch and Create collection, where the head and the body are separate and then we stitch them together. I also go ahead and I like to stuff mine lightly with batting. I use this warm and natural or warm and white batting. I went ahead and die cut 2 layers, and then I trim off the outer edge so that it doesn't go all the way to the edge. For the bunny, I have found I don't save the ears. I just do a little circle. You could even just roughly cut a circle to use as batting. You can also use polyester fiber fill, felt scraps. You could cut up into little scraps and stuff inside of your plushes. I have just really found I love the look of the batting and it doesn't cause any pressure on my stitching. So that's kind of what I've gone to for the most part. And you can use scraps. That's all I use for mine are just scraps. Or you can buy small little craft sizes of the batting. Before we start stitching any of the body or head pieces together, I am going to go ahead and stitch the body portion. First, we want to stitch the heart to the tummy. These have stitching holes that line up, and I, again, following kind of my same quote-unquote rule, we're going up and down every hole. So up, down, all the way around the heart, and again, we'll go around to stitch this in place. I did not do it for this video, but I am going to do it in another video. What I think would be super cute for the heart, you are not constrained by having to stitch this way. If you like a blanket stitch would be cute around here or even around the tummy portion onto the front of your bunny. Or you could do just a little tacking stitch. I have done that on some future projects, and I will try to do a video where I do that here as well with some of these new felt stitching dies. It's really cute and just gives a completely different look. As we come around here, my thread's getting kind of short. We call this thread chicken when you don't know if you're going to make it or not. Okay, once we have the heart onto the tummy, it's time to stitch the tummy to the front of the body piece. Now, I want to mention this here, and you will see this in future videos. Some additional ideas if you are not making a felt plush. Let's say you want to stitch the bunny to the front of a pillow or another piece of fabric and make a little banner or frame a piece or something, whatever the case may be. If you are stitching this flat, you would only use, if you're doing a front-facing bunny, the front pieces of the bunny. You would not need to die cut the back pieces. Let's say, and this is a project you will be seeing from me, that you want to do the back side of a bunny and do little bunny tails. I think that would be super cute as well. You would die cut the back pieces of your bunny and you don't need the front pieces. Maybe you want to add a little bunny tail. Now this set does not come with a bunny tail, and I am going to give you a sneaky peeky preview at the end of this video of a die that is going to be included in a summer Felt Stitch and Create collection that works perfect for the bunny tail. I can't tell you more than that at this time. However, just know that this die is coming. You can also hand cut a little pom-pom tail or even use a pom for the tail, and it would be adorable. So just throwing out some additional ideas while I'm doing this stitching. The sky is really the limit. So I went ahead and went around again off camera to fill in those stitching holes. For the bunny assembly, we are at the point now where we want to assemble the bunny. Yes, we have quite a bit of stitching left. However, you have to think ahead just a little bit. In this case, we are going to stitch the body of the bunny pieces together. So front to back with the batting in between. Then we are going to stitch the head pieces together, leaving an opening in the bottom to slide the body in between the two head pieces, so it sandwiches in between to make this all one piece. You're going to see what I mean here in a little bit. And again, if you watched any of my introductory videos for the fox, the reindeer, the owl, this will be familiar to you. I will link to my playlist down below for the Felt Stitch and Create collection. So if you're looking for more inspiration or for introductory how-to videos, you can find all of those in that playlist here on YouTube. So now, again, I have the front and back of the bunny body together with the batting sandwiched in between. I did switch my floss color. For the majority of this project, I used kind of a creamy white color that matches the tummy and the ears. I even used that for any of the pink accents because I really like the contrast. You could match a floss to the pink if you want to. It's definitely up to you, and it changes the look just, depending on what you're going for. And then I use the brown color. I believe this is 612. I will make sure to pop up the DMC colors that I am using on the screen for reference here. I don't always remember what they are, but when I do, I will try to put those here on the screen in case you're curious. They do definitely match the felt that I am using, and that does change from project to project. So really, I just grab whatever DMC embroidery floss, whatever kind of embroidery floss, honestly, that you have on hand. I'm a big proponent for using what you have. So if you have some DMC, just pick something close enough. More times than not, it looks fantastic. Because the body is going to be sandwiched in between the two head pieces, I like to start kind of in the center of the upper part of this body piece, pardon me, and I don't worry too much about burying my knot. That is going to be a little more important with the headpiece since this is a dimensional item, and I will show that to you. In this case, I just want to start and stop somewhere where I can hide the knot in my felt. So the center is a great place because I'm going to sandwich this in between the head pieces. So again, just like I have done for everything else, I stitch all the way around and then I'm just reversing it, I think, here and going back the other direction. The goal with your dimensional plush stitching is that you don't want any funny long back stitch lines. You want more of this running stitch around again, so it's closing each and every opening. It's really important. Now, again, if you like a blanket stitch kind of look, you could definitely try a blanket stitch here, and that might be kind of fun. I will say why I didn't. The blanket stitch can get a little bit tight, maybe around the top of the head of the bunny, and I'd want it to be the same all the way around. Although I would like to give it a try just for something different and fun. I really do love the look of a blanket stitch. Okay, so we are coming back around. I always love this part, by the way. You can start to see the beautiful stitching really take shape. Look at how uniform and beautiful this looks. It fills in all of those little spots perfectly, and oh, I just can't get over it. I love, love, love it. If your floss tends to tangle like mine was tangling here, you can always let your needle and thread dangle and let it unwind a little bit before continuing on. As I get back to where I started, I am going to then just tie this off into a little knot and snip the ends. I didn't mention this, but I should have. If you want to do any other kind of decorative element to the front of your bunny, maybe you want to add like a little teeny tiny button or some sequins and seed beads, you would want to do that and attach those before you stitch the front and the back together. Okay, I now have the front and back of my bunny head together with the batting behind the head portion. And you may notice my tail, I started in between the two layers, and I also didn't start right in the center middle of the bottom of the head. This is on purpose. This is because we need to slide the body in between these two layers of our bunny. So what I'm going to do is I am going to stitch all the way around. And I really think in this case, I actually wasn't able to. I didn't have quite enough floss left, truth be told. Had to go get some more floss. So when that happens, if I can tell that I am not going to have enough floss, and I have just done this enough that I kind of have a feel for it, I will get to where I think I can, and I generally reverse and come back so that I can still start and stop at the same spot and tie off my thread. And that is what I'm going to do here before grabbing another length of floss to stitch up the other half of the bunny head. Now, I should have covered this at the beginning, but it is exactly like any of my other Felt Stitch and Create videos. I personally love 3 strands of embroidery floss, and I like to use a size 5 needle. It's a nice sharp needle. That means if it's going through felt, especially where there may not be the stitching holes, when you are attaching this to another piece of fabric or felt, or attaching the head to the body in certain places, a sharp needle is going to cut right through it very, very easily. And I like the thickness of the size 5 needles. The hole is also a nice size for 3 strands of floss to go through. It is completely personal preference. If you like a little thicker look, you could definitely use more strands of floss. If you like a little less thickness, you might try 2 strands. So whatever works best for you. There are no rules here. Oh, look how cute the bunny face is going to look. Now, the bunny face is really going to take shape when we add the rest of the face details with the little pink cheeks, the little pink nose, and of course the eyes. But we are going to do that last. I generally try to save any of my gluing until the very end. Any of the teeny tiny small felt layering pieces that come with these sets all need to be glued in place, whether you like a fabric glue or you like to use hot glue. I am pretty open that I like using hot glue, but if hot glue is not for you, definitely go for the liquid glues out there. They work fine. You just need to let everything sit and dry. And I don't have enough patience for that. So I always opt for the hot glue, and I can tell you right now, I burned my finger pretty good putting some of this together. I was talking on the phone at the same time, which was probably my mistake. Okay, so I did have to grab some new floss, and I am actually going to just start where I ended, tuck the body in between the 2 layers, and we are going to start stitching again. Now, this is important. You'll notice, I know I'm out of frame just a little bit because I had to pull it close to me so I could see. I am flipping my bunny back and forth so that I can be sure that I am lining up my stitching holes, that I am not accidentally getting off, because remember, we're using that nice sharp needle, and because of that, we can cut through the felt and maybe not hit our stitching hole. So I am making sure that they are lined up, that I am hitting each of those, and especially where the body meets, or the head meets the body, pardon. And now we are just going to stitch around the other side of the head, and we'll stitch up, and then we're going to stitch back around to fill in all of those little holes. And that is going to put our bunny together. So cute, so fun. You can stitch up a bunch of these. Imagine if you have nieces, nephews, grandkids, kiddos of your own. You could make almost like the same as Christmas. You could make yearly Easter ornaments, or make this little Easter tag to hang on their Easter baskets for Easter morning, or, you know, have new little ornaments. If you have little Easter trees, you could do that each year. I just think they're adorable. I am making these. I do have grown-up kids, but I am making these for my kids this year, just as part of their Easter gift. let's be honest, they really just want some candy at this point. Maybe, and they always did. But I thought it would be a fun little way, or you could use these as place card holders at your Easter table. There are just so many cute ways to use these. And of course, lots of other fun home decor items. I have a bunny and carrot garland banner that I'm going to be sharing with you. I have a bunny pillow that I want to share with you. So really, I cannot wait to see what all you guys make with these amazing dies. I'm super excited to have some springy Easter dies to add to the collection. The other thing I think the bunny would be super cute for is babies. Baby showers, baby decor, baby bedroom decor. You could really do some cute things with that as well to take it beyond the spring and Easter season. Okay, for the neck of our bunny, we have the bunny head sewn to the body now. We are going to sew the bow pieces together, which you can use just the button on the bow, or you can do like I'm doing here, and you can sew the button, the tails of the bow, and the bow itself all together. And then I'm just adding the little stitching detail. Now you could stitch this directly to the bunny. If I was stitching this onto a flat other piece of fabric or felt, I would just stitch it to that piece. But because I want to hide my knot, I am just stitching these pieces together individually, and then we're going to hot glue the little bunny necktie and bow in place to the bunny. Another idea for this bow, I think I mentioned earlier, is you could use it up on the head, and you could, or maybe even put one on each ear, and it would look like your little bunny has little pigtail, a little bow in her pigtails or something, her little ear tails. Really, it's completely up to you. I decided to be brave today. I don't know why. Usually I use my smaller glue gun, but this one was out, so I'm being very careful and doing little dabs of glue. If you have an embellishment wand, highly recommend using it, even for your felt, and picking up those little pieces to keep your fingers out of the way. So I am doing the cheeks and the nose, and the minute we get those cheeks and nose in place, you can instantly see how cute this is going to be. I am doing all of the embellishing for the face with my hot glue gun and the felt pieces, except for the eyes, which we're going to use those black pearls that I talked about a minute ago. So let's just draw a little line of glue here to do the little necktie. If you wanted to, this would be a great opportunity to put a little twine around your bunny. If you want to do more of a quote-unquote real bow, a little ribbon bow if you wanted to. Same with the bunny ears. You could do that there as well. You could put a real button in the center of this little bow tie. Have fun with it and make it yours. Okay, I am adding little bits of glue here to my bunny eyes. I'm holding it my glue gun kind of awkward, because if I hold it straight up and down, I found I could really kind of control that there's a lot less glue. I had a little string here, but I can get rid of it. Oh, look how the face comes to life with those little black pearl eyes. Aren't they the cutest? I think that might be my new favorite way to add eyes. I don't know that I've done that, except for maybe some of my felt critters and my previous felt critters. I haven't done it for any of the other bunnies I've made, and this one's adorable. It is time to make the carrot. Now the carrot, while adorable with the bunny, would be a great standalone. Think little carrot border or banners, buntings. You could do a whole bunch of these little carrots and use them as like a little bowl filler or in a cloche, or other kind of decorative ways to style these for Easter and spring. You can also stitch them in like several different shades of, carrot colors. I think that would be really fun. And you can even do pillows just with carrots. The sky is the limit. There are so many cute things you can do with this. So with the carrot, one thing you want to note, see how there's some stitching lines that go inside the carrot. This is to give our carrot some texture. What you want to do is, I have a front and a back of the carrot plus my batting in between. I am going to start up near the top, but not in the top center, because again, we have a piece we're going to tuck in between the two carrot layers. We are going to stitch down to the first place where you can go across and add our little carrot detailing. Then we are going to stitch into the center of the carrot and then come back out to the outer edge. Always remembering that we don't want any funny long stitches. We want it to look as cute on the front or on the back as it is on the front. And this is the best way I found to do this, is to just remember every other hole. As long as you're making sure and kind of following that rule, you won't have any trouble with this. Now, because we do have that batting in between, it can be a little thick to go through the center of your carrot when you're stitching these little embellished lines. So you might keep that in mind and just double check to make sure you're getting it lined up as you are stitching. And here I'm coming up towards the top. Now, my favorite thing about this little carrot is the carrot top. We worked hard to come up with a fun way to have some really interesting texture, but still a felt piece for our carrot. This little line is made, or this little die with the fringe, this fringe die was made to be folded in half, or you could fold it in thirds, although I think it would be kind of hard to stitch through. And you can do it perfectly in half. In fact, I did for this video. A lot of times I'll kind of skew it so it's not exactly in half. And that gives you this really fun fringy top at the top of your carrot. When you get close to the top, you want to stick that down in between the two layers and then stitch through the stitching holes at the top, catching your fringe die to complete your carrot. Now, I did make a small error, like I wasn't super happy with how my fringe went in. So I will gently pull out my thread and I re-stitched it. Plus my needle came unthreaded. I had all kinds of things happening here. But one of the great things about stitching dies and felt is it's forgiving. As long as you aren't super rough, you can gently pull out your stitches and re-stitch that. So I'm just going to carefully pull these out and tuck my carrot top back in a little bit to make that work a little bit better. Now, there are not stitching holes in the carrot top. In fact, there are not stitching holes in some of the accessory pieces for many of the sets, and that is definitely a design choice. Stitching holes for this, there's different ways you can use the carrot top, and that makes it a lot more usable, I feel like, for other things. Same goes for, you know, like the eyes and cheeks and noses. Those are all too small to support stitching holes. And it's really not needed. If you're using a nice sharp needle, you'll be able to stitch through easily. When I get back to the end, I am simply going to go through the two layers of felt, tie a quick little knot and trim close. That buries the knot in between the two layers, and there we have a finished carrot. Here are our pieces. Now, I promised I was going to share a little sneak peek of a die coming for the summer release, and it's this little piece here that creates wonderful little loops. Now, this is actually made for something else. I'm not going to share quite what yet, but I think it makes a perfect little pom-pom tail. You'll fold it in half, roll it very tight on itself, and then glue it to secure. Again, I like the hot glue best, but you could use liquid glue if you prefer that. I need to re-roll it. Put a little glue just to secure. Then we're going to flip our bunny over, and we are going to hot glue the tail to the back side of the bunny. And this is just the perfect little finishing touch. Look how cute! Now, a little pom would also be adorable here. Here is the look at the finished carrot companion bunny and carrot. Thank you guys so much for joining me today for the introductory video for the Felt Carrot Companion. The supplies I used are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for joining me today for another paper crafting tutorial. I love being able to share with this incredible community of crafters. I want to give a huge shout out and special thank you to my amazing Patreon members. If you're interested in joining Patreon, please click the link in the description underneath the video here on YouTube. Patreon is a private community where you can support more of what I do. There is exclusive content, information, and behind-the-scenes content. Top-tier members will receive a handmade birthday card during your birthday month, access to D-Stash, and monthly exclusive lives, plus so much more. We would love to have you join our growing community.